Well, hello everybody. How's it going? I am in studio today. Well, actually, I'm in dining room with got some LED lights back here on the fireplace. I went for a walk, recorded a whole 45-minute long video, and I guess the microphone was cutting in and out the entire time because the battery was low, and I didn't realize that. When I went out, it had 10% battery left, but that thing has recorded about 15, 40-minute vlogs. So I'd say that's pretty good. Maybe 13, something like that. But still, that's a long battery life. So I can't really complain. I mean, I could, but it does it ever do that good? Does it ever do that much good to complain anyway? Does it ever do any good to complain? I find that it never does. So I got in a good walk. That's good. But the entire video is shit, so can't use it. When the microphone finally died, I did record the end of the vlog using the onboard microphone of the DJI Action 4, but I decided, you know what? I'm not going to skip a day because I was like, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to go back out and walk again? It's getting kind of late. So I thought, you know what? I'll just sit down and record it right here in the studio for you fine people, and that's what we'll do. So that's what I'm doing. And the topic I was talking about is something that I've been getting a lot on the channel, and I've been getting this on Redacted too. Like ever since I started Redacted, there are people that they'll come into they don't come into the channel for a conversation, right? They don't want to have a conversation about a topic because their mind's already set up. They already know exactly where they are. They don't care about new information. They don't care about facts. They don't care about anything. They just want to come in. They want to insult you in one way or another, and then they just want to leave. They'll tell you you're wrong. They'll say all these things with absolutely no data, no links to tell you, oh, this is where you're wrong. This is where I find you're wrong. No, none of that. They don't have any of that. They just want to come in, tell you you're wrong, and then run away. But another one you'll hear a lot, and we get this a lot on Redacted because, whenever we're talking about Israel and Palestine, or whenever we're talking about Ukraine and Russia, the one we get a lot is, well, why don't you just move to Gaza? If you support Hamas, why don't you just move to Gaza? If you support Russia, then why don't you just move to Russia? It's the same damn thing as calling somebody a bigot, calling them a racist. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. You say that because you've got nothing else. You've got nothing. And how do you feel like running around the internet saying things like this with nothing to back up what you're saying? You're just taking somebody else's talking point, and you're not even sharing it correctly. You're not even sharing it. You're just telling somebody they're wrong, or to move out of the country, or to shut up, or whatever. Well, here's a comment that I got a day ago on the video that I did, the vlog on why the U.S. wants to go to war with Russia. If you've not watched that, go watch it. That's a good conversation. Get involved in that one. But Hard Hitter 493 said, you don't have to agree with what the U.S. has done, but one undeniable fact is that everything you benefit from and the life that you live is because of all the wrongdoing of the U.S. If you don't like it, move to Russia. So, again, this is a tactic of the left. I don't know if this person is on the left or right. Doesn't really matter. But this is just a blow-off comment. This is just like a comment of somebody who has nothing. They've got no argument. They're just going to come in, they're going to spew their little comment, and they're going to run away. But isn't that kind of crazy? The fact is that everything I benefit from in my life is because of all the wrongdoing of the U.S. What am I fucking benefiting from? A horrible economy? The fact that I'm in fear that we're going to be in a world war? The fact that I'm in fear that our dollar's going to crash because these idiots continue to spend money out of control because they're sending billions and billions of my money, of my dollars overseas? Those benefits? Is that what I'm benefiting from? What am I benefiting from? Yeah, I can pay my rent. Yeah, I can pay my light bill. But for how much longer? Will I even be able to buy a house in this economy in a year? Will there even be an economy in a year? Like, what the hell are you even talking about? That I'm benefiting from the bad things that this country has done? No, I'm not. There are people on the other side of this world that want to kill us for what we do overseas. For every innocent person we kill, we create terrorists. I'm going to put a video in here because I've used this video several times. The Revolution PAC made this video back during the Ron Paul campaign. But it's so fitting because, and this is a speech that Ron Paul did on the floor. They just took the speech that he did and they made it into a video. But it talks about what we would do if Chinese troops made a base in Texas. Because I think it's absolutely abhorrent that you think that I'm benefiting from the bad things that we do around the world. If you think you're benefiting from that, then I feel sorry for you. But watch this video because this is a very important video and I absolutely love it, but it makes a very important and very strong point of what we would do if China did what we're doing in 900 different places. We have bases all over this world. And why Russia has every right to not want us there. North Korea has every right to not want us having nukes if they can't have them. So watch this video.
Imagine for a moment that somewhere in the middle of Texas, there was a large foreign military base. Say Chinese or Russian. Imagine that thousands of armed foreign troops were constantly patrolling American streets in military vehicles. Imagine they were here under the auspices of keeping us safe, or promoting democracy, or protecting their strategic interests. Imagine that they operated outside of U.S. law and that the Constitution did not apply to them. Imagine that every now and then they made mistakes or acted on bad information and accidentally killed or terrorized innocent Americans, including women and children, most of the time with little or no repercussions or consequences. Imagine that they set up checkpoints on our soil and routinely searched and ransacked entire neighborhoods of homes. Imagine if Americans were fearful of these foreign troops and overwhelmingly thought America would be better off without their presence. Imagine if some Americans were so angry about them being in Texas that they actually joined together to fight them off in defense of our soil and sovereignty because leadership in government refused or were unable to do so. Imagine that those Americans were labeled terrorists or insurgents for their defensive actions and routinely killed or captured or tortured by the foreign troops on our land. Imagine that the occupiers' attitude was that if they just killed enough Americans, the resistance would stop. But instead, for every American killed, 10 more would take up arms against them, resulting in perpetual bloodshed. Imagine if most of the citizens of the foreign land also wanted these troops to return home. Imagine if they elected a leader who promised to bring them home and put an end to this horror. Imagine if that leader changed his mind once he took office. The reality is that our military presence on foreign soil is as offensive to the people that live there as armed Chinese troops would be if they were stationed in Texas. Shutting down military bases
and ceasing to deal with other nations with threats and violence is not isolationism. It is the opposite. Opening ourselves up to friendship, honest trade, and diplomacy is the foreign policy of peace and prosperity. It is the only foreign policy that will not bankrupt us in the short order, as our current actions most definitely will. I share the disappointment of the American people in the foreign policy rhetoric coming from the administration. The sad thing is, our foreign policy will change eventually, as Rome's did, when all budgetary and monetary tricks to fund it are exhausted.
I love that video for so many reasons, but it really puts things into perspective. You know, you're telling me as a blow-off comment to move away from this country. But I love this country. I love America. You know, it has its flaws. It does things wrong. I don't agree with many of the things it does. I don't agree with our government. I actually will say I hate our government. I hate the system that it's become. I hate the fact that we're ran by religious zealots, and I'm sorry if you're religious, but that's how I feel. The founding fathers wanted separation of church and state for a reason. This country was not founded on Christianity, and I will do a complete vlog on that and talk about that. But to think that, you know, people just blow you off with blow off comments like that does nothing for the conversation. Come at me with a conversation. If you've got some context, if you've got some meat to share with me, like what are the things that I'm benefiting from? What are the bad things we've done that I've benefited from? Do you even know the bad things we're doing? Like, do you think sanctions aren't a bad thing? Like, what is it that you think we've done that I'm benefiting from? I'd be very, very curious to know. I'd also be curious to know what you thought of that video. Isn't that powerful? To think like, what would we do? What would the United States do if China brought troops to this country? I get goosebumps every single time I watch that video. We are the terrorists that we say we're fighting in the war on terror. Like if another country was to launch a war on terror, it would be against us. We are their ISIS. And there are some people that actually believe they're so American supremacist that they believe that we're actually doing good over there, but we're not. We're not doing good things over there. You don't spread peace and democracy with guns and bombs. You don't spread peace and democracy by murdering children. 99% of the people killed in drone strikes are innocent. 99%. They might get a target here and there, but what is even a target? They consider a military-age boy, in a lot of cases 11 years old and older, a military target because they're of military age, any male. So the numbers are skewed all the way around just because of that. So if an 11-year-old kid gets killed, a boy, well, that was a target. That was a potential military asset. So just because I'm critical of what our country does, just because I'm critical of the things I hate about my government, I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to fly my flag upside down and say, fuck this country, fuck this government, but still love where I live and still love the idea of what it could be. But I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave America. I want to stay here and fight for my grandkids, for my legacy, for my family that is still here. What would it look like to my grandkids who I just lost my son September of this last year of 2023, my 33-year-old son. He was killed in a car accident in Indiana, and he left behind two twin girls, Maya and Willow. And what would that look like to them, you know, later in life, where they're like, you know, things are so bad in this country, but Grandpa just left. He just up and left. And I'm over in some other country just like, woohoo, man, this is great. I don't have to deal with all the shit back there that those idiots have to put up with, all the tyranny and all that other stuff. I'm living high on the hog over here. But I just walked away to let them suffer? No, I would never do that. I'm staying here and I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out what to do. I don't have answers. I have questions, and asking questions leads to answers. And that's what this vlog is about. This vlog is about asking the questions together as a collective, us, having conversations so we're not doing it alone, so we don't have to feel overwhelmed and dealing with this by ourselves. Because there are so many issues that we have to deal with. It's like, which one do we choose? Do we choose Russia, Ukraine? Do we choose COVID? Do we choose money in politics? Do we choose local elections? Do we choose local issues? Where the fuck do we focus our time? Where do we focus our attention that's going to get the most bang for our energy and the lack that we, and the little bit that we have after dealing with this stuff all the time? It's no wonder people want to bury their heads and not deal with this stuff. It's overwhelming because there's so much. We're inundated constantly with issue after issue after issue with a government that doesn't deal with any of it. They don't do a goddamn thing for us. All they do is enrich themselves, make more and more money, while we sit here and just hand them the money that they're doing it with. You know, and it's like people are commenting on my posts and on my vlogs and being like, well, you're sitting here spewing all this shit. Well, what's your answer, Mr. Smart Guy? What do we do? I don't know what the hell we do. You know, I offer some solutions. There's some solutions that I know would really hurt. And that would be to stop paying our taxes. If we had, 50 to 100 million people that would be willing to stop paying their taxes, we could make a dent. But I also know the reality of that. I also know the reality that these bastards have probably dipped so much into Social Security and Medicare and all this other stuff that if we did that, people wouldn't get their benefits, wouldn't be able to get their medications, and it would be almost like we're putting sanctions on our own people. And we'd have to decide, is that sacrifice worth it? Is it worth it to let the people that are dependent on that money right now go and pass on to save future generations? That's a hard question. So it's like, do we have solutions? Yeah, there are solutions, but people might die. The solutions are not going to be easy, but we have to do something. And running away isn't it? And telling people to just move to another country, getting pissed off and sitting there not believing when there is evidence showing what's going on, that an election was hacked. If you have one single ounce of evidence that happened, everybody should want it investigated. But no, you're a right-wing nut job. So it's like people really just have to stop and be willing to look at information. And I was saying this years ago, that I think one of the only ways that we could do this peacefully, without harming a lot of people, like not paying our taxes could potentially do, or other methods that would be good but would have that same effect, is we all need to pull away from our parties. We need to leave the Republican Party. We need to leave the Democratic Party. We need to leave these fucking private parties that control our elections. They 100% control our elections, and they are private entities. We have zero say over what they do. Zero. So they're able to put up whatever candidate they want, and you have to choose the lesser of two evils. The reason you have to choose lesser of two evils is because of them. And they're also responsible for the debates. The debates are a private company, so they can choose who goes on and does not go on that stage. That is up to them. They decide who you can hear. They decide the questions. They decide everything, and you get to just watch the show that they provide for you. So the peaceful way that we can fix this is get the fuck out of these parties. Become politically homeless like I am. We don't need them. We don't need those parties. Because both sides are equally as corrupt. I see a lot of people, they're commenting, well, Biden and the Democrats are going to get us into a war. Bullshit. They're all going to get us into a war. Both sides. You see all the Republicans with the Ukrainian flag in their bio? You see all the Republicans with the Ukrainian flag on their lapel? The Israeli flag on their lapel? They're both the same damn thing. They're both the establishment. You know the saying, the house always wins? Well, when they put up the lesser of two evils, the house always wins. It doesn't matter whether we get a Republican or a Democrat, it's all the same. We have to leave these parties. Whether there's a Republican or a Democrat, we get the same economy, the same Federal Reserve, still printing the same money, still telling the banks exactly what to do. That doesn't change. We still go to war. We still fight wars, and everybody's like, well, Trump didn't start any new wars. Yeah, well, he didn't end any either. He could have ended the wars like Ron Paul said he was going to do. End the wars, close the bases, and bring everybody home and put that money into our economy. That would do a lot for America. Trump didn't do anything like that. So he didn't start a war, but he didn't end any either. And you can say Afghanistan, that's not over. We're not gone from Afghanistan. Don't buy that for a minute. So we need to start what's called the Purple Revolution. And I said this a long time ago. Like I think I said this like 5, 6, 7 years ago. A Purple Revolution. Get rid of red, get rid of blue, move to the middle, because the middle is the only place we're going to win. And the thing is, if you scoot more to the middle, you're not trying to pull your friends from the left all the way to the right. You're just trying to pull them closer to the middle. So it's not as hard to pull them that far. If you're trying to take somebody that's on the left and move them all the way to the right, you're going to get resistance because they don't want that. But if you can approach them from the middle, and get rid of the single issues that you might have. Forget about gun rights, forget about abortion, forget about those things, as hard as it is, but that's what they want you to do. They want you so focused on those singular issues because that's what keeps us so divided. That's what's pushing us further and further away from each other. So not focusing on those singular issues and focusing on moving to the middle, focusing on not listening to the rhetoric from the Republicans or the Democrat. Turn the fucking news off. Stop listening to mainstream media. Turn all that shit off. Start paying attention to independent journalists and what's really going on. Move to the middle and try to guide people to the middle, not so far away from where they already are. It's like you're wanting to, you're sitting on two opposite sides of a bench and you're wanting to put your arm around somebody to show them that you care about them, right? Well, you got to scoot closer to them in order to do that. And it'd be awesome if you both move toward the middle together. That's even better. But that's the only way we can fix this peacefully is if we all move to the middle, and that's, for me, I feel like, and that's why I'm voting for Trump. And I'll say this again. I've said this in the last few vlogs, but the reason I'm voting for Trump is because I really want to see if we can overwhelm the system so that he gets more than 76 million votes, like maybe 80 million votes this time. And they're going to have to somehow show that Biden got more than that, or they're going to have to put somebody else up. Now, I could see, like, if they put somebody like Michelle Obama up, that they could convince their side that she actually had the votes. I think that would be convincing to the left, but I don't think a lot of the left could be convinced that Biden won this time. I really don't. I think there's a lot of people on the left that are going to be like, he won. He got more than 81 million, more than Trump. More than he got in the last election when he can't even get 200 people to a rally right now. Like, the left is already fractured with what he's doing with the economy in Israel. Like, he's already lost a lot of Democrats. So, and then he got more votes than last time. I feel like that would put a crack in the foundation and that both sides would see a common cause, our elections. When people are screwed and they realize it, they will come together. And sometimes it takes something like that to do it. And that's why my protest vote is not a protest of not voting this time like it has been every other year, because every other year I didn't vote. That's my protest. Fuck this system. I don't believe in it. I still don't believe in it. But I do believe that in the too big to fail theory, too big to cheat. Too big to fake. Because I think that more eyes are going to be on this election this time. I think there's going to be more microscopes, more scrutiny. And I think the Democrats know that, how much harder it would be to cheat this time with mail-in ballots and voting machines. I think they know this. And so I think Biden would have to get more legitimate votes this time, and he won't. And I had somebody say, well, why don't we overwhelm the system with Jill Stein? Not enough people. There's not enough people that like Jill Stein. Jill Stein is too wishy-washy. RFK Jr., same thing, not enough support. He's not going to overwhelm the system. You're not going to get enough people behind him. Trump already has the overwhelming support. He already has it. So we don't have to try to get, like with Jill Stein, it'd be like trying, what do we got to do to get her support? It's not going to happen. A lot of people don't like her, me included. I'm not a fan. I like some of the stuff she stands for, but I do not like her. So that's why I'm voting for Trump, unfortunately. Don't like the guy, but I'm voting for him. But let's do that. Who's with me? Who's going to leave their party? Who's going to walk away from their party? Both parties, Republican, Democrat, get rid of the R&D. No more R's and D's. Fuck them. They've taken enough from us. They lied to us. They changed the rules. If you guys, let's say you guys were to actually be like, okay, I don't like Trump. I'm going to vote RFK. RFK gets voted, goes to the DNC because I think he's running as Democrat, right? Or did he decide to go independent? I'm not really sure. But let's say that happened, right? Well, they wouldn't let him on the debate stage with the other two, so he's not going to get a lot of national support. And they would make damn sure he was not elected. Like, they would go out of their way. Now, if he was in one of the private parties, the Republican or Democratic Party, the DNC or RNC would make sure he wasn't anyway, because they can change the rules if they don't want somebody in there. They can just willy-nilly grab somebody and put him in or not. I mean, I don't like Bernie Sanders. Think what you want of him, but do you think it's a coincidence that Joe Biden won during the primaries? That he won all the voting machine states and Bernie Sanders won all the caucus states? You think that's a coincidence? No. Bernie Sanders had way more support than Joe Biden. Joe Biden lost to Bernie Sanders, but because of voting machines, he won. And because of voting machines, he won the 2020. So voting machines are a huge issue. And that whole Fox News thing, man, like people are like, no, they got sued and they had to pay $700 and some odd million. Bullshit. I'll bet you Diebold or Dominion. Now it was Diebold, then it was another company, Free and Fair or something or whatever. Then it became Dominion. I bet they paid Fox. Like, look, if you guys investigate this, if you take us to court, we're going to go to discovery and people are going to realize what a sham our elections are. Do you want that? Do you want the fabric of our elections on your hands? And Fox News is probably like, nope, not worth it. You know, I don't think that lawsuit was legit at all. I think it was a pile of shit. And I think it's part of why Tucker is gone, to be honest. But anyway, I digress. We have to move to the middle because those two parties control everything. They control our elections. We do not have free and fair elections. We do not have legitimate elections. We have become a banana republic. This place is fucked. So since everything is going to hell, why not just leave your party? You know, at least for like the next 3 years. Contact your party. Do what you have to do. Register as an independent. Register as an independent if you want, but I just don't register, period. Register for no one. You know, be the, what do you call it? The free agent. The free, is it free agent? Where you're just, you know, they're going to be begging for your vote, begging for you to join the party. And you're going to be like, nope, you don't do anything that I want. Nothing that you stand for. You stand for nothing that I believe in. You do not stand for me. You do not work for me. You do nothing for me. That party does nothing for me. And you have not done anything for me. You say you will, but you never do. And I don't understand the loyalty to these parties at all when they've done nothing. They don't listen to us. They just blow our money. They send it overseas. They fuck us every chance they get. And they're living high on the hog. AOC is a millionaire on a $175,000 a year salary. How does that happen? Do you and I become millionaires on our salary? We don't get free health care. We don't get a car. We don't get a furniture budget. We don't get all the things that they get, all the lobby money. Hey, AOC. And then I don't know if you know, a lot of you guys know this, but a lot of times they pay to be on those panels that they're on, the commissions and House whatever committees. They pay for those positions in a lot of cases. So they have to raise money, they pay, and they get on those seats. A lot of times those aren't free. Now, I don't know if that's all of them, and I don't know if it's just the top positions or what, but it's a pay-to-play system. And you'll have companies that will pay to get them on those seats because they know that they can push their agenda. I mean, you listen to Democrats sometimes from those seats in Congress, and some of the shit that they say, like when they were questioning Dr. Fauci, and they're just like, and there's emails pointing to Fauci's guilt, his own emails pointing to his guilt. And they're like, oh, Mr. Fauci, isn't it hard to come in here and you have to face these people that are, you know, trying to take you down and discredit you? And does it hurt? Is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. My family gets threats and stuff all the time. You killed millions of people, you son of a bitch. You deserve what you get. And the Democrats are sitting there and just petting Dr. Fauci. You poor little man, you poor little guy.
It's the most unfair thing I have seen. If there were evidence, if there were facts that supported the charges, I, like everybody else, would be interested, but we haven't seen a damn thing to suggest that these accusations are accurate. You've been a hero to many for 54 years, 5+ decades. You helped lead this country through the anthrax scare, through AIDS, through Zika, through Ebola, through SARS, and through COVID-19, pandemics and epidemics. We owe you a collective thank you. You are a world-renowned scientist and an American patriot. And whether or not people want to believe that, that's on them. But those facts are undisputable.
Which, like, you've got his freaking emails. They're right there in front of you. You're looking at them. You're looking at emails that he sent, but you don't see that because you're paid not to see it. If you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it, because somebody has told you not to see it. I mean, they're not that, you know what I mean? Like, you're not that stupid. Somebody is padding your pocket if you're not seeing that. So the system is rigged. It's rigged against us. We get nothing from it. Nothing. And they gain everything. Their whole lives they're taken care of. You know, they get security. If they get a cold, they can go to the doctor. They don't have to pay anything. We pay for it. They break their leg. They get the best care, the best health care. But if we want that, we're socialists. You don't get health care, you sons of bitches. That's socialism. Well, how do you get health care? Well, that's different. You guys pay for it. Well, we'd be paying for it for us too, you dipshits. The same fucking thing. Drives me nuts. It drives me freaking nuts. I mean, come on. So who's coming with me? Who's dropping their party? Let's do it. I don't have one, but are you going to do it? Let me know in the comments. I'm serious. Let me know in the comments. Let's start a purple revolution. If we can get enough of us, like maybe I'll make a video just dedicated to purple revolution and talking about this concept. And that way you guys can share it. Would you want me to do that? You can share it with people. We'll start this revolution and we'll get people out of these parties, because if they don't have the parties and then we're like, you know what? Earn our vote. We will join your party, but you're going to do exactly what we say. You know, it would it would have to be millions of people, but it'd be a lot easier to do than get people to stop paying their taxes. People got to understand that, like, they can come after you. They're not going to be able to come after us if we leave a party. I don't think. But let me leave you with this, you guys. I really like doing these vlogs. Like I said, you guys are a lot of fun. I'll put it in right here. So here you go. Check this out. Hopefully you enjoy this. It's kind of funny. But thank you guys so much for watching these vlogs. Don't forget that tomorrow I will be live at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. That's going to be every Friday, so mark your calendar. And I'm going to do those in a format to where I get on. I'm going to talk a little bit about a topic, get it going, and then I'll open it up for chat. And then if there's time, we'll open it up for just open Q&A so that we can just have conversations. And that's going to be every Friday, so stay tuned for that. And then other than that, if you want to support this channel, I would highly appreciate it. If you want to support this channel, I would really appreciate it. There's a join there. You can become a member. You're going to get extra content. And also you'll get early releases on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays of the vlogs. And then, other extra perks and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. Thanks to the new members that joined today. I appreciate you. And thanks for all of you that have subscribed and that have found me from Redacted. That's so funny. Or like, I recognize the white glasses. That's so cool. Like, I never thought that these would become like a trademark thing to where people are like, oh, but somebody gave me a really good recommendation. I don't know if I mentioned this already in a vlog, but they're like, hey, all you'd have to do to go out in public is put on black glasses. Put on a different hat, black glasses. Nobody's going to recognize you. And I was like, oh my God, it's like Clark Kent. Like, people literally probably would not recognize me with black glasses on because it's the white glasses that they usually recognize. It's like brilliant. So when I get home, I'm ordering a prescription pair of black glasses, and that's what I'll be wearing out. So those of you that know me, if you see me and I'm wearing black glasses, you're going to be like, is that him? Is that the guy from Redacted? Or go up and bug the guy if it's not. And I'll be like, but no, if you guys ever do see me out in public, come up and say hi. I like that. I've had that happen, and it's a lot of fun. Met some really amazing people, and it's just awesome. It's awesome to I don't go out to the bars. I don't do a lot of stuff outside and offline and stuff. So having you guys here to have these conversations and to hang out with, so that we're not doing all this shit alone. We're not going through this and trying to figure it out on our own alone. It can kind of help with the overwhelm, right? So appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow live at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Peace.